Perfect. Oh,
And we are live,
humbling everyone.
I'm telling you, on another broadcast of the Roofing on the Rise studios. We are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated here in the Houston marketplace. We're also sponsored by West Group Public Adjusters. They are almost everywhere in the nation, but they are not everywhere. I got corrected yesterday. So apologize for saying they're nationwide, but they are not.
Shout
They
out to
are
Jamie,
close. Yeah, Jamie.
my
Fucking
man, my
love
man,
Jamie.
Jamie and Jeremy.
I'm telling you what, those guys, those are part of my wheelhouse. Like I see them, like I'd seen Jamie 4 days out of last week. It was freaking awesome. We are also sponsored by RepCard. RepCard has been going the distance for the Roof John for about 3 years now. I've had RepCard and have utilized RepCard with every interaction that I have. So if you guys are looking for an awesome digital business card, reach out to RepCard or reach out to myself, 210-919-8987. Again, 210-919-8987. I'll put a little banner at the bottom of the screen so that you can see my number. And I will get you hooked up with any of those three people. Today, I want to talk a little bit about controversy and what we should do with controversy. And whenever we when we run into it, um, some stuff popped across my news feed yesterday, and it kind of saddened me. I mean, seeing someone call someone else out and talk about wanting to fight that individual, um, it's distasteful in my eyes. And so immediately I put my phone down and I was done. Like I was done with everyone and everything yesterday after seeing that. Um, and like I get that that's the reaction that they're looking for, right? Like that's kind of big shout out to Dimitri and Lee because this is what we're talking about is the conversation that happened yesterday about whatever was going on. And I really even don't know exactly what was going on. So I know Mark, you know a little bit more about what's going on. Let's get into this and see what's let's touch this touchy subject.
Well, I'm Mark, by the way, and happy to be here.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. Those two characters, like at the end of the day, we're in this industry that's provides so much opportunity and so much possibility for all of us, and we don't seem to find a way to coexist together and play nice together. And I understand that, right? But I think at the end of the day, these two guys, I think they're trying to do well, and I think they mean well by each other. But yeah, yesterday was pretty, or was it 2 days ago?
Was it 2 days ago?
2 days ago was pretty
There you go.
a little distasteful, and I think I understand. I think I might be related if you go back in a weird way to Lee.
Oh, really?
His mom's last name is Donaldson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to do business with his dad and Marty and those guys in distribution.
I worked for Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started my
Yeah.
career. I worked for Marty.
So I have a lot of friends like Greg Bloom, Derek Shuck.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Ryan Haight.
Okay.
Like I respect that family. I like,
Of course.
and
so do I. I want to
and I think
big shout out to those guys.
and
the
I
Haight
think
family.
what Dimitri is doing and has done and educating and teaching people is really a good thing, right?
Same.
But my own personal experience there is he also, I wasn't the best owner,
Yeah.
right, in my life, and I did some things that I am still taking care of and getting better at. We talked about my journey, my sobriety. Like, there's some shit that I messed up, and it's hard being an owner. And I
Right.
think we both of those guys, former owners or current owners, know that, and we just got to give each other some grace, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was also in the Dimitri's target at one point in time for some of the stuff that I did. And once you get into his target, right? I mean, hell hath no
Fury.
like a woman scorn, or
Yeah.
Dimitri, a Russian mad, right?
Yeah.
Good luck. So I think you got to so just was interesting. And then the fact that they play nice together, they've played nice together in the past,
Yeah.
and gotten along after some disagreements. And so, I mean, I try to practice the principle of like, I don't engage in controversy. I neither endorse or oppose any causes. Like, I just wanted to be helpful and useful to people.
That's
and
an AA thing right there.
It is. It's an anything thing, but it's just the way I live my life.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I mean, they can both do better.
Yeah,
They
I mean, and really, so to clear this up, like for everyone that's watching, um, we didn't like jump on for a super long segment today. We just wanted to come on and like really truly address that. Like we love the industry. I know I love the industry. I love the people that are in the industry. This industry has got made me the man that I am today, and has made me a better person, right? And I want to do right by this industry. And I know that on Dimitri's side of things, I got to speak to Dimitri a little over a month ago here in Houston, and I asked him about the controversy and why he does what he does. Um, and there's a specific reason. Like he is trying to help the industry as well, but in a different way, right? Um, but 95% of his heat is 5% of the content that he creates, right? So 5% of the content that he does is the heat case, is this expose type content,
yeah.
right? But 95% of the heat that he gets is from that alone. And I would say that yesterday or 2 days ago would definitely prove that, right? Like, and there's a reason why that post isn't on Facebook anymore because it brought a lot of heat both back and forth because people are people. We all have skeletons in our closet somewhere, right? So I feel like with Dimitri's side of going after Lee in a way in which that wants to, like, he literally asked him to like pay his bills and settle up your debts and then we'll fight, right? Because he doesn't want to glorify, quote unquote, something that he doesn't believe in.
But why fight? I mean, just because you can, I guess. But what? I mean, my point is,
Yeah, me too.
here's the deal. At the end of the day, I've been lucky enough to be in this business starting my 20th year. I didn't know how I got in the roofing business, but I like the people that were recruiting
Yeah.
me out of college.
When's the last time you got in a fight?
I was thinking about that. I saw a post the other day. I was actually in Austin. I met up with my mentor, Matt Spanton, and I was in the same hotel where I last got punched, and it was when I first became a contractor. And I just started talking to somebody that I shouldn't have been talking to, and I was drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got sucker punched, and then I had to defend myself. But I'm at a place now, like where I think we're all there. Like we're ready. Like I'm ready to go at any time, but like thank God I don't have to anymore.
Bro, come
Because
on, dude.
I'm 42, right?
But yeah, this is what I'm talking
But at
about.
the end of
Like,
the day, like, I got in distribution because of the people, and it's been so good, and it's such a blessing, and the reason we're in distribution, and I'm proud of you for being in distribution.
thank you, bro.
Darren Bro, RSI,
Big
great
shout out
company.
to Darren, bro. Thank you for the
But
opportunity.
there's a reason the manufacturers do not sell contractors, right? They
Yeah.
don't wanna extend credit.
Yeah.
Right? The function that distribution plays is they have to extend credit.
Yeah.
There's risks involved, but generally they
Calculate
those risks,
Yeah.
and they have reserves, and they have bad debt, and they know what they're doing, and they make enough money to keep growing and having greenfields and having new operations, and and then selling it for multiples, through private equity and whatever. And so there's a reason like that place matters, and they extend credit based on people that are warranted, and then based on where there's lien rights and where there's not. Um, so I'd never want to have zero owed to me because that means I hadn't sold anything lately, right?
Yeah.
If you're a salesman, you always want to be owing somebody something,
Yeah.
right? So, at what point will Dimitri be satisfied when his balance is zero? No. When his balance is current, I mean, is that realistic? When his balance is nothing in the 31 to 61 column, who cares? It's none of his business, right?
Okay.
How can Lee control when people pay him, right?
Right.
Now, if you promise something to somebody and they don't take care of you and they don't take care of business and something that Lee could do better, right? Lee works on that, right?
Yeah.
But to say like I'm going to come manage your bank account and I'm going to tell you how you should
Right.
get out of here, man. Like
Yeah.
you have no idea what kind of lived experience that guy has going on. But I will say this,
Cash flow.
I went to I mean, I had drinks with Lee in 2018 at the same RIRE. I was hanging out with Steve Patrick at the Crawfish Bowl at Lee's house.
Yeah.
Lee's house that he rented. And it was a great time. We talked, me and him. Justin Parker were just
Yeah.
bullshitting before the night got crazy, and, like, they made the comment, like, "I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down."
Yeah.
And as a small business owner that just skyrocketed after Harvey,
Yeah.
right? Like, Harvey was a lot. It was a blessing and it was a curse because I never kinda caught up,
Yeah.
right? And was always playing catch up from there. And I felt the same, like, Lee was there too. Like, he had his struggles, but he also revamped it, got stuff going, and
So
had some good stuff happen.
let's
So
talk about cash flow, right? So I big shout out to Chuck Allen, a really good buddy of mine. And we were just actually talking about this right before you showed up. And Chuck actually works for Lee now, right? And has for about the last 30 days.
works for him or works with him?
I think works with him.
Okay.
I'll be
Because he's in San Antonio, right?
actually he's in Florida right now.
Okay.
So I want to say that he works with him. I don't know for exactly if he is for or with. Anyway, so
Yeah.
we
The
Chuck,
semantics.
yeah. Anyway, please pipe in with that. But we were going over the whole cash flow thing, right? Because Lee has a very sizable organization, like very sizable. So uh, if we're talking about, 40, 50, $60,000 worth of debt, we're really talking about fucking pocket change here because the company does 20, $40 million a year. That's a job. That that could easily be one or two jobs. And so when you look at the credit, right, whether it's 30, 60, or whatever the fuck it is, um, like you got to look at it in that way. And you hit it on the head. Like you're always owing someone. And for a company that large, there's no way that they're not going to owe someone at some time.
Yeah, and I don't understand, um, I mean, just because you have the revenue, there's some good accounting principles that go on. I've seen people not pay things off in purpose so they can maintain some lien rights, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know what the situation is or the detail, but I know that I know that
And neither do
this
I.
industry, there's some models
Just want to clear that up.
there's some models I've seen that that pay reps so they don't stash and starve a rep.
Yeah.
And I think there's some solution in how you set up pay structures so that they're just not they're not get you
It's a
don't
good point.
you want to pay on caps and not draws. I think there's a model like every time you turn in a check, you get a check, and then you can true up things at the end. But
And how many times does a rep leave a company and talk shit about the guy and they didn't do any fucking thing. They didn't. They may have signed two jobs and then left those two jobs undone. They're not completed.
Yeah.
The last check hasn't been completed. Roof hasn't been fucking put on, and they expect that they're going to get paid the full amount of commissions for those jobs, and that if they don't pay at a certain right now, you're a piece of shit.
I've been pretty fortunate. So when I left Beacon in Kansas City and I transferred to Kona Austin back in the day, they paid me my commissions even though I was gone, but I kind of did an intercompany transfer,
Yeah.
which was great. When I left other suppliers, I got paid previously when I was asked when we got a separation or I moved on, and it was okay. I worked for a company. They should be on your radar, by the way. Shout out to Roosevelt General Contracting.
Okay.
They were the first. They were the guys I work with now are the only two that did my parents' roofs.
Yeah.
I've done one of my parents' roofs. They've done two of my parents' roofs.
Okay.
So they're big shout out to Lone Star, but Roosevelt actually were getting jerked around by another contractor, and then I joined them, and I was their supply rep, and I learned the business from them, and then we just decided we couldn't grow together anymore, and so I was going to move on and to go learn solar, and maybe sell a deal, maybe not, because I had been planting the seeds. But I mean, they paid me out on every deal, but I also finished the work.
Right.
I wasn't actively involved like I was, but I finished the work and I continued the communication. And I think where things get screwed up, and I think this situation where things get screwed up is like they're not communicating. Like
Yeah.
going to Facebook to have a civil discourse of ideas and concepts is where good stuff happens. Going on there to
Right.
going on there to pick a fight, like
Right.
I mean, not that that's what we're doing, but
I mean, I think it's a good way to express yourself, right? You know, this alone is about making everything better, right? And
if we're not, right, what's the alternative, right?
it's gonna make it
we're either gonna
worse.
get worse or we're not gonna grow. And so
And that's in turn, that is why I started the podcast. Like, I wanted to grow, and I feel like I've grown a lot since I've started this podcast. Um, but I also do understand content, and I understand the algorithm on Facebook um, pretty well. I've had increased visibility for the last 48 days, and I've hit consistently in the last month. I've hit a top percentage with content creators online. I'm not there right now because I'm not streaming 6 hours a month or a week, but I know what I need to do to hit the top percentage every week, right? And I mean, my body is just tired, right? But one of the easy ways to get engagement is controversial posts.
yeah, I mean
The
that's
biggest post, bar none, right now is the one about me telling my daughter she can't get baptized immediately. She just came to me and was like, I want to go get baptized. And she didn't know anything about it.
mhm,
She just wanted to get dunked. I'm like, we're not just going to get dunked. And I told my side of things.
yeah.
It's my side. It's my daughter. It's my family, right? That like exploded online because everyone has their own take. Some people do baptism at birth. Some people do baptism when they ask. Some people do baptism at whatever. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I try to avoid politics, but I like to be more Ron Paul than
Oh
anything. And Ron
man,
Paul's
bro.
statement to everything is that's none of my business.
I'm telling
It's
you,
none of my business.
bro.
And like if we could just all live in that place
Yeah.
of like, hey, stay inside your
Big
own
shout out to Ron Paul,
stay
man.
inside
Like,
of your own garden, right? You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need any validation from a girl from being number one. Like you're good as you are.
yeah,
But needing it from other people is where we get all screwed up.
exactly.
And like I think Ron realizing like just it's none of my business. I'm just gonna let's just be if I'm gonna be the president, like let's just take care of stuff we hear
Yes.
inside of our own country or inside of our own place.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean I was I was raised one way and then I converted to a different religion
Right.
and it's saying Christianity, but it and I was baptized in that other thing, but you have to do certain steps and go
Yeah.
through certain process to get the like it's a gift to be able to be a part of.
Right.
And so, but do I think you can start a relationship with a higher power at any time?
Of
And I
course.
think that's if that's what your daughter wants, like all power to her. If
Absolutely.
she just wants to
And
go to
she
the
did.
pool, if she just wants to go to the pool, like
Absolutely. Let's go to the
let's
pool.
go to the
Exactly.
pool.
Exactly. And that's really where my heart was at. Was like I wanted her to understand what it meant and what it really truly means to have a connection with a creator. And she started it right then and there because she didn't quite grasp it.
Yeah.
And so what I didn't say on there was that I called my wife from the other room. Oh man, a little gnat flying around. It's getting hot in here. Um, and she brought the Bible to me, and I sat down with her and I went through absolutely everything for the next hour and a half. And
Yeah.
I've got like I used to street preach. Not a lot of people know that. In the back of my Bible, I have sermons on how to come to Christ. And so there's like 20 or 30 different verses that I just of course there's one that's like really quick and easy.
Yeah.
And so, I started there, but then she asked a couple more questions.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, hold on. And we went over it, which I love. That's what people didn't see. But anyhow, I digress. Controversy is a big thing. I mean, that's how a lot of content moves. Like you start controversy and it moves. And so I don't necessarily approve of exactly what happened a couple of days ago, but I do understand that stirred a lot of content and a lot of people, not content, engagement. And when you put out content like that, you're going to expect a certain sort of engagement back.
But now that you're a content creator, right, more so than you are a roofer contractor, right?
Right.
But once you're aware of something, it's hard to be unaware of it. And then once you grow in awareness, you start seeing things differently more and more.
Yes.
And like when I see my marketing friends post like, hey, what's everybody having for lunch today? Right. I'm like, do they really care about what I'm having for lunch?
Right.
Or are they just trying to get people to like engage with it? Right. And I try to engage with you to support you.
Yeah. I appreciate
I try
that.
to help you with your audiovisual.
because you see that some
your,
of that
your
is.
audiovisual.
Yeah, I know,
is
bro.
tough,
I know. I know.
especially early on. You've gotten
yeah, I
better
know.
at
It's
it.
really fun.
So
This has been fun.
yeah,
I love this.
but
I know
you
some of
become
my
but you
content is
become
like
you
that.
become more aware of like, oh, he's there. He's doing that thing again where he's just picking
Yeah.
a fight just to get some eyeballs. And like what I think, it's promotion, it's attraction, not promotion, like
Yeah.
in our other program.
Yeah.
But I think that the good that Dimitri does, right, far outweighs the bad that he does, right? And the good
I
that
agree.
Lee does, right, far outweighs any bad that he does, right?
I agree.
And that's what instead of talking about that,
Yeah.
right, we're fucking talking about a fight that probably won't ever happen. But if it does, it should happen at RoofCon, right, Diego?
Oh man, I'm down
And
for that.
I think Paul Reed,
Parker.
Pate Smith, Steel Cage, Eric Obremt hanging from the rafters. He's the winner, or the guest referee, whichever
Oh,
you want.
that would be an interesting
I like.
ordeal right there. You
so I
just
was
went
never-
into
so
like
I was
some
never a
detail. You were like,
I
I'm
was-
setting this
I was
whole
never.
thing up.
I was never the guy that played in the band, right? But I
Yeah.
promote the hell out of it. And
Hell
I
yeah.
could book a wrestling event if you want to.
Oh my god.
We could do.
So
this.
let's talk about. Okay, so you hit it right on the head. So we're sitting here talking about some crap that we've seen. It's not crap. We just some distasteful stuff on both sides. Like they both engaged in this, and so it was distasteful on both sides. That's why I wanted to address it. But let's talk about the good that they do then, right? Because you hit that on the head. So Lee's working with a good friend of mine and his family. Actually, we were talking about that. The Hates. Marty was probably one of the best human beings I ever met. And
I only met him a few times, but like the day he died, right? Greg Bloom was in my office in Houston. We were having our grand opening.
yeah,
Derek Shuck was down here. They're two Minnesota guys, and
Yep.
Greg is like vice president of marketing at Beacon. And just to see my best friends like upset because their best friend just died.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I know he helped. So many companies came out of that organization and that legacy.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, if you look, Matt's guy was born from that.
Yeah.
It was. They all dealt business together. They were all great friends, and they failed and they got back up and they did it again, and they had a plan and they put it into action. That is something that I truly respect. And on that side of things, Lee has duplicated that in his own life. And I respect the hell out of that. The way in which that he operates is different than anyone else. And I haven't necessarily been able to see the everyday inner workings.
Yeah.
But my friend Chuck, he is.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the conversation that we had this morning was, Chuck's like, dude, I never had any of these experiences that anybody's saying about Lee. I've never had any of them. So I'm not going to go off of it. What I am going to do is I'm going to go off of the experiences that I've had and what I do have with him. And when he needed someone the most, Lee was there, right? A friend, not money, not intrinsic value, not
Lee had my back when I hired a guy. Lee had my back so hard back when what's his name? I hired April Hall's ex-husband, Jacob Kroll. And Lee had my back when Jacob and me didn't parted.
Yeah.
And Lee didn't have to. Lee barely knew me from one event, and he had my back, and I appreciate it. Donnie, I love his controversial ideas and topics and things. I'm a guy like him. I think you're a guy like we can get involved and wrapped around in fantasy really easily.
Oh yeah.
And to be in reality, and and the conspiracy theorist, not that you are one, Dimitri, but that's a fantasy in itself, right?
Yeah.
It's not ever as bad as we think it is, right? But you go there and you live there, and at the end of the day, like we're all people with trauma and problems and good stuff about us and bad stuff about us, and we all need to just work to like tap into the good and either work on the bad or just stay in the good.
Yeah.
Right. And hire people to support our character defects and the stuff we're not good at.
And like let's go on, Dimitri's side of things, right? Dimitri gives a voice to the industry in a which that was never here before.
His conference might be the best conference out there.
Have you been?
I haven't. I've just from what I've
Heard.
heard and seen,
Yeah.
and like the tools and the teaching, right?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go this next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that I've been like that and RoofCon. Those are the 2 that I really wanna go to.
I'm gonna hit up as many as I can. I got this travel voucher that has allowed me to go up to Colorado easily,
Yeah.
right? But it can allow me to go really anywhere for nothing.
Okay.
And so I'm definitely going to RoofCon in Orlando. I'll go to uh as many as I can go to.
Yeah.
And because it's fun to see your friends, it's fun to learn,
Yeah.
it's fun to get new experiences and be exposed to different things. Because then you can come back and like we were talking about, make your own gumbo.
Yep.
Figure stuff out. But the cool thing is like we don't have to be inventive, so inventive, like where we are making it up from nothing. We get to
Exactly.
like TJ Ware, like I got to take his culture index test and see who I was. I'm not gonna come up with the next iPhone. I'm not gonna come
Yeah.
up with but like you like the idea of a Yeti, you like the idea of a red Solo cup. You turn around and you make a good thing better, and then maybe
It's got our
combine
orders
it.
email on there, by the way, too. Orders at rsisupply.com. So if you're looking to order.
But you can make a good thing better, right? And you don't have to like
Absolutely.
start from scratch to go.
I
to
will say
something new.
that this had a lot to do with Janet. Okay. So we went back to the old logo because we've been playing with the logo. But yes, we wanted something tangible and different from everyone else.
Yeah.
Um,
Something that you're not gonna
we work
that's
together.
that's not trinkets and trash.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, that's what you're giving out to people.
pretty
Bunch
much.
of trash.
But somebody's gonna.
But that's
take
something
that-
that you're gonna keep.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think the other thing that people fail a battery, a phone charger,
oh
a charger
man.
that would be branded.
Janet, let's do
Um,
phone chargers.
So, but I just think Dimitri, his platform for training for Roofing Insights,
Yeah.
right? Very good. His directory, I mean, I saw it the other day. He was like, basically stay in your lane. Like roofing
Yes.
contractors don't do siding. Like
Right.
it took me a long time to realize like there's some things you're good at, there's some things you're bad at. Do the stuff you're good at, stay away from the stuff you're bad at. I dated a girl that's a dentist that would do her own plumbing and do her own electrical and do whatever. And I had to remind her, and I was really saying it to myself, right? Just because you can
Right.
doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And I tell that to the guy I work with in College Station. Shout out Luke. He cuts his own grass, right? He changes his own oil. Just because he can
Yeah. Doesn't mean
he
you should.
Because
Yeah.
he should. I'd rather him spend more time going and closing boardrooms, going and helping a salesman
Yeah.
finalize a deal, working on what I'm passionate about, which is finding ways to generate revenue and stream and improve processes. Because I don't want to touch in operations, right? You can smell the tires on the trucks
Yeah.
and you can figure out how to strap them down right. I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
I just want to figure out how to generate revenue, generate profit, make a good thing better, and improve.
Yeah.
But Dimitri, like, he was talking about that the other day about
Yeah.
stay in your lane, don't do this because it's
Be a master of one
because I see
type shit.
yeah, because I see you screwing up. So,
Because like, jack of all trades, they're a master of none.
but they're better than a
The
master of one.
Right.
I like we're gonna start selling fences probably.
Yeah.
Right? And why? Do we make a lot of profit on fences? No. But you notice when a fence is blown down before you notice when a roof is messed up.
Yeah.
And if you get the call to go see a customer because the fence is down,
Yeah.
right? You might be beating traction, right? Velocity, beating yourself
That's
to
nice.
to an area
Yeah.
that needs work. And it doesn't take much SEO marketing to get a call for a fence job.
No, it doesn't.
But I mean, at the same time, you can go there and turn it into a roof job and then you can always, if you're busy, just price the fence high. And if you're not busy, take the order off the street, right? But you have that flexibility in how you navigate the path, and that's something I think is interesting. But I just because you can,
but master your craft, though.
But you can't. What you got to be good at is taking care of the client, not getting bogged down, not making it into Vietnam, not going inside the house unless you have to. I am working inside the house with the West Group on a project that
Oh yeah.
I brought him onto, and
I love West Group.
I love Jamie and Jeremy too. Jeremy doesn't call me anymore because I think he thinks I don't like him.
Oh, that's hilarious. No,
The Blue Collar American Dream Conference. Yeah, we should do that.
Chuck Allen. Big shout out to Chuck.
Hey, Chuck just ran like 200 miles
Oh, yeah.
in 100 Mile June. So he, instead of just doing it once,
I know, he did it
he
twice.
picked up my share because I fell off. I'm doing 100 miles in July. I've been stuck on airplanes and in airports. So,
Yeah.
and I make excuses.
Yeah.
But thanks for picking up my load, Chuck. You did a great job. There were like
Yeah.
7 guys that did 200 miles.
Dude, it's absolutely insane the amount of miles that you put in. I just don't understand it. Like, Chuck, we were talking about that like right before you came on, and he was telling me like, dude, I was for sure that
I always
I
thought
was
you
gonna
were,
smash those motherfuckers because I did 200 last year, but it was like 2 or 3 that hit around that 200 mark. Like, how in the fuck?
he said he was overweight a couple like years ago or whatever. So I
No
went
way.
back and scrolled in his posts. I'm like, I think it's cute. Like Eric
I
says he
think
was
it's cute.
Eric O says he was fat back in the day, and I go back
Yeah,
and I look at
that's
him like,
cute.
oh, that's cute. These fucking skinny guys think they're fat. I like to think of you as a San Antonio guy, Chuck, not a College Station guy, but that's okay. There's no competition. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, we're in this industry. It's an ecosystem we all have to live in. We all hopefully have to survive and thrive in. Because like, what's the point in seeing others as like competition, right? Like we were going to collaborate with that solar company,
Yeah.
and if what I want to do is protect the industry. There's a Rice professor, a good friend of mine, Sergio Chavez, that's going around writing a book. He's interviewed a bunch of roofing installers. He's going to start interviewing a bunch of business owners and salesmen. He might sell a couple jobs for me because he wants to like learn the experience. But he's studying it from the climate change aspect, the economy, the migrant workers, and just really passionate about our industry. But when I first met him, I was like, man, you better not make us look bad.
Yeah.
Right. I was all concerned about that. But at the end of the day, like the bad characters are the bad characters. The good guys, do good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's real hard to distinguish between what's good and bad, right? If that's the lens you're looking at, I today I think of as like they're in the industry. I hope they're doing the right thing, and if they're not, I'm gonna maybe bring in ideas to them to help them get better,
Right.
rather than like throw them under the bus and hope they never sell another job. Like, go sell another job. Go get $1,000 a square from insurance. Go increase the market and the
Yeah.
demand so that we all get better.
Yeah.
It's a rising tide lifts all boats, not.
And I think really that's the goal for Dimitri on some of the stuff is to push it into a better market. Like, I think that's part of the reason why he posted it, but I don't know. Dimitri, tell us why you posted it. I know you're watching. Underneath that, I would say that Dimitri goes on a lot of his other content. He goes after his heart, and he goes after what exactly he's looking for in the industry to change in a positive manner. You got to think that for a lot of people, for a lot of the smaller guys, he is that voice that they can't necessarily speak up for, right? He speaks out against all the main
The
manufacturers,
600-pound gorilla,
right?
Can't remember. I don't remember their name, but
right.
they're really big, and they have lots of lawyers. And if I ever do business with them again, I have to sign my life away. So I don't do business with them
Right.
anymore.
Right. So I just I respect Dimitri in that respect. Like, I think that I know that I wouldn't do it. Like, I'm not
It's
I'm not
easy.
jumping out there.
It's I like Daring Greatly, right? It's easy to critic how the guy stumbles, right? How the doer of deeds could have done them better, but the
Yeah.
real credit belongs to the guy who's actually in the arena,
Yeah.
whose face is marred with blood and sweat, who's known great victory and also great error, but at the end of the day, he's out there doing his shit.
Yeah.
And that guy, so if you're doing your shit and you're trying to do the best you can do, and you are waking up every day and you're harming less people than you did before, keep it up. And
Absolutely.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
And I know they both have. I like to think they both have good hearts.
Man, I tell
And
Dimitri, I know Dimitri does.
Even other people that you had a
Okay.
bad taste, they have
Yeah,
good
yeah,
hearts, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's either grace for everybody
Yeah, you're right.
or justice for everybody. But I'm a part of everybody, so I'm going to give people grace.
Damn, bro. That's a
Right?
good way to look at it. So if y'all are watching Dimitri and Lee, right? Like we're after y'all's hearts, bro. And we're after everybody else's heart. Like that's why we did this.
And in the process, we might sell some roofs or sell some shingles or, sell some video content marketing or just help you get better. And then in return, maybe one day you'll remember us and help us get better.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll fly us out to your conference and let us hang out by the pool with your
I've
daughter.
only actually had
with
one
your
person.
with your daughter, so
right?
you can finally get done.
Holy crap. Oh my
You've
God.
only had one person. What?
I've only had one person fly me out somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anthony Delmedico. He flew me
Who
to Arizona.
at the end of the day is not a bad guy, and he's not.
He got saved recently.
Yeah, but he's not
and
a bad guy.
baptized.
He's not a bad guy, but he's not the greatest guy either. Like he's a flawed individual that's trying his best, and at the end of the day, like hopefully deep down inside of us, like we all know that, like we aren't the best on our own.
Yeah.
But there is something inside of us that wants us to be better.
Yeah.
And we tap into that good stuff rather than living in that I got to prove that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I have to be better than you so that and I can't encourage you to be the best because if you're the best, then what about me?
Yeah.
But yeah, Delmedico, I was talking about I was at a Delmedico thing and I ran into a guy again at a Delmedico thing and I was like, "Yeah, I got sold." He's like, "Yeah, I got sold." I was like, "Thank God the guy that sold me like went AWOL, never processed the credit card payment because I didn't have that. I was misallocating funds that I shouldn't have,
Yeah.
I didn't have the means to really support that in
Yeah.
effort, but I knew that I wanted to get better and grow, and he sold me on that thing. Thank God that he didn't. The guy went AWOL, never processed my credit card, never took that money out because I didn't necessarily have it for that. And,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen, but I'm proud of Domenico. I'm proud of what he's doing.
Dude, he's
I'm
done
jealous.
a lot of
He's
stuff
got a
here
he's got a
recently.
kiddo. I wanna have a kiddo.
Oh man, yeah.
There's all
got
sorts
a couple
of
there,
Huh?
Bella, he's got a couple.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a couple.
He's got a real
he
young
got
one.
full. Yeah, he got full rights to her, here in the last year actually, which is crazy. He's doing something different. Full time fatherhood. A big shout out to Anthony Delmedico. You've had a big influence in my life, and
he
definitely helped me
When
out.
did he fly you out, and where was it?
He flew me out, I want to say 2 years ago to Arizona to come do a solar boot camp. He actually put me up in a hotel and everything. Like gave me the keys to his Range Rover, and I drove his Range Rover back and forth, and we came up with awesome ideas in his office, and we shot some content, and just had an awesome time. Learned a lot about solar. Learned a lot about the organization that had changed at that time, because there was that big shift to the solar boot camps, and now they sold. Now the solar aspect of SVG is not SVG anymore. It's certified solar. Farhad's still running the solar division.
When they it's just a different mindset that I'm living in. But as either everyone's a threat or there's an opportunity there. And
Exactly.
when I first saw like Lee came out with his solar stuff, Anthony had his thing. Everyone started talking about doing these solar things, and I'm just like, man, these guys don't.
We even got into some stuff.
No, but I mean, I brought some solar to Texas.
Yeah.
And that now is owned by ADT, and I lost out on my ownership shares, which I'm trying not to be bitter about today. But
that might be a resentment.
Yeah, it might be. But if you want to send me any money, Mark Jones, like I shipped you shingles back in the day, you're welcome to. I shipped in product from.
It's definitely resentment now.
It's very similar to the market. I was in Wichita, right? It was hard to get product. I was able because I was in Wichita. I was buying OC out of Denver, so I got my allocation out of Denver, not out of Irving. So I would take my trucks, and Katrina had just hit, and I was shipping them down to this guy, and he was my brother's neighbor when I was in college. And so it's all about the relationships you built. You never know what's going to happen. But because I chose Tamco because you're in Kansas and you're in Tamco. And then I chose OC instead of Certainty because the guy was trying to push so much down my throat and make me buy more than I wanted to. So I picked OC. But because I had OC, I was out in the Denver market. Because I was in the Denver market, I had 10 trucks or as many trucks as I wanted. And I could ship. I was shipping those to like buying them picking them up and just shipping them for $1,700 to New Orleans and making my budget that year. It was amazing. But so that was to Mark. So you're welcome there. And then I brought tech solar to here. But my whole thing is like I learned solar. I learned the right way to do it thanks to Mark. He didn't let me just go to the races, even though I would have sold a ton right away. He made me learn it.
Yeah.
And then I learned it and I realized like the number one way to tell if someone's a good candidate for solar is if their neighbors have it.
Yeah.
That's the only other way to tell. So if the more solar that gets put up, the more potential homeowners are good customers for solar. So more is better in that regard. In some other regards, I used to think more was better. It's not the case.
Same thing.
Moderation or abstinence is good. But the but
yeah, I
like,
didn't know what
when
the
they,
fuck moderation was, dude. What are you
but
talking
when
about?
they first started doing the solar thing, like at first I thought, oh God, they're gonna ruin just like the rice professor. Oh God, he's gonna make us all look bad. He's gonna ruin our industry.
Right.
He's gonna hurt us. Oh God, they're gonna hurt the solar business, or they're gonna teach people that have no business selling solar how to sell solar. Like Chuck knows how to sell solar, I think. I there's a place for it, and you don't have to screw people over, and you don't have to take advantage of them. But I mean, if they're
You
gonna,
just need to be
you can,
educated, and the client needs to be educated.
yeah. If you can sell if you can sell roofs easier by selling solar, then I think you should consider selling roofs easier. However, you can. We sell roofs easier by working with insurance. Sometimes insurance is hard, right? But it's generally easier than selling retail. But if you can learn how to sell roofs retail, then why not? Just like if you can learn how to sell roof repair, that's pretty simple and it's easy in and out. Same process. If you can learn how to sell commercial,
I didn't
right?
do roof repairs for a very long time. I
Well,
wasn't taught to
I love,
believe in it.
yeah, but
Me
why?
too. I
But they're
love them.
80% profit.
I know. I know.
And you're helping somebody out that might not have the means to be able to afford what
A
you
whole roof
yeah,
replacement.
but
Yeah.
it's the zone. I mean, somebody said I like that analogy. It's a zone read or it's basketball, right? You get different points for free throws, for 2 points, for 3 points.
But you gotta look at like your tax liability. There's a lot to look in there, and like say our benefit is not going to be the same as my grandma's. It's
Oh, you're
not
talking
gonna
about for solar.
yeah, it's not going to be the same as say my uncle, right?
Yeah, but that
Everyone's going to be different.
we when at the company that used to be SunPro Solar, we you vet that on the front end. And
Right.
I sold solar to somebody
But
that
there's a
had
lot of
no
people that don't.
I sold solar to somebody that had no tax liability, and I said, "Hey, well, you're not gonna get the 30%." And she's like, "That's okay, I still want it." I was like, "Okay." But at the end of the day, as long I feel good about myself because I made her aware, like, you don't qualify for this, and she still wanted it. Who am I
Yeah.
to say that she shouldn't have it? Now, on the other hand, there's other people that aren't gentlemen
Well,
and that go places they shouldn't, and they stay
if
places they
she was in
shouldn't.
a fixed income, I
Yeah.
think that would have been a different conversation, right, for you.
Yeah, but,
If they're not fixed income,
yeah, maybe, but and then the other thing is, like, they have a it's not like what's the other alternative, right? It's not like the utility company, right, isn't in a fleece program with these people where they're paying for electricity forever, right?
well, absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't think it's not like you're doing wrong by offering what you're offering, but at the same time, I think somebody taught me this when I worked with Darren, right? Are you selling for yourself? Are you selling for the customer? Are you selling for the company? Well, if it's all three, it's a third, a third, a third.
Yeah.
You're balanced,
Yeah.
right? And if the balance is where I tried to get to. You were talking about living by a schedule.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think I had a drinking problem a long time ago. I had an itinerary problem. And so I
Yeah.
so I worked on trying to have a schedule. I went out for a year and living by a schedule. It's so hard to. But really what I crave is balance
Yeah.
and not being out of alignment.
Yeah.
And um as long as, like, you take that into mindset, like, I need to do right by the customer, I need to do right by myself, right, and not give it away, and then I need to do right by the company. I can't give them bad deals and make them responsible for credit unworthy customers or jobs that are gonna not be profitable, and, no one talks about that, like, on the jobs that Lee has. Like, how many deals did his guys sign that he's stuck with?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think every contract should have a thing like the office
Kick it.
can get out of it, but at the same time, they have to have the visibility and the awareness, and they have to have somebody sitting here deciding, is this a good deal or bad deal? At that Sunpro company, like, you sign a deal, it comes in the office, it has 2 reviews. Does it make sense from a production standpoint? Can we do it? Does the job work? Can we set up all this equipment? Blah, blah, blah. From the accounting standpoint, does it make us money? Is it clear how we're getting paid, when we're getting paid? Is it profitable? You know, if it passes both things, it moves forward. If one of those things fails, it's kicked back. Nobody in the roofing space has anything that I'm aware of like that. And that's a safeguard. We talked about boundaries.
Yeah.
That's a boundary that would
No
be very
shit.
that would be very helpful to
that
have.
that needs to be implemented into the roofing industry, I would say. Like, we need to have that. But speaking of balance, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the end of this because we've got family coming over today, which is pretty fun for 4th of July, but we're not doing 4th of July on July 4th because it's Tuesday. Y'all tell me what you're gonna do with July 4th because I don't know what to do with it. Like, we're gonna celebrate on July 4th or not. I know RSI is closed, but you can text me and I'll be available.
Still shipping orders on the 5th, right?
We're shipping orders on the 5th. We're not shipping orders on the 4th though. It has been a exceptionally live stream today. And for some reason I can't get my outro music. There we go. To work. Again, it's been a live stream. My wife. Big shout out to my wife. Thank you for always being on every single live, making sure.
Yeah, I'm coming over, Sarah. Get the pool ready.
Like,
We're gonna get done.
Get it ready. Again, we are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated in the Houston Marketplace and West Group Public Adjusting. If you're looking for a public adjuster or an awesome supplier, I am the guy to talk to.
An appraiser.
Or an appraiser.
They do appraisers.
Or umpire work.
Umpire work.
They do a lot of other stuff.
They support lawyer. If you're a lawyer and you do first party lawsuits and you need a good public adjuster, you call Jamie. If you need a good hail report, I'm just joking too. Call
Jamie with West Group Public Adjusting, Jeremy with West Group Public Adjusting, and also Rep Card. That's an awesome business card.
Do you deal with Posey over there? Who do you deal with?
Don't. That's it. We're done.